And now, a year later, the Cabinet has finally approved recommendations from the Presidential Taskforce on Religious Organizations, a landmark move to safeguard the integrity of religious practice while curbing exploitation. The approval of the proposed reforms, developed in response to the Shakahola massacre back in 2023, comes in the wake of a resurgence of cult-like activities in Chakama Forest. This is after one person was confirmed dead, 4 rescued, and dozens feared missing. Susan Waweru has more.
President William Ruto chaired a cabinet meeting at State House on Tuesday, where sweeping reforms were approved in a renewed effort to crack down on cult-like religious practices. The recommendations submitted on July 30th, 2024, by the Presidential Taskforce on Religious Organizations were informed by the Shakahola tragedy, where more than 400 Kenyans lost their lives in a deadly cult led by controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie. 1 year later, the state is seen to be acting. Among the approved proposals include enacting a legal framework to govern religious organizations, establishing a religious affairs commission, and strengthening umbrella faith organizations for coordination. It also proposes leadership standards, reforms to religious broadcasting and civic education to promote tolerance and prevent extremism. But the urgency of these reforms was made clearer after a fresh incident in Chakama, inside the same forest where Mackenzie's followers previously fasted to death. This after one person found dead, 4 rescued, and dozens feared missing. The move also comes in the wake of a suspected resurgence of religious extremism in Chakama Forest. On Saturday last week, the DCI homicide detectives arrived in Binzaro area where the latest cult activities were thwarted. One body was found near a homestead in Binzaro a week ago, and 6 children whose parents are currently in custody feared dead. The government says those behind the happenings in Chakama Forest are connected to the controversial preacher Paul Mackenzie, accusations vehemently denied by the former televangelist who has been in remand since 2023. Back in 2023, then Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki ordered a reshuffle of top security officials in Kilifi after failures that allowed Mackenzie's cult to flourish unchecked. But 2 years on, it appears the ideological remnants are still thriving. Susan Waweru, NTV.
And now hundreds of Kenyan traders and professionals